Math 111, Calculus 1. So once again, welcome everybody to this class. And just bear with me for a few minutes. It's about 30 minutes lang. And maybe halfway mapuputol tayo, just reconnect. So just a brief of our university. So this is University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. So I will show you some few pictures here. I already went there. That was late last year, before the COVID. So that's my first time actually to see the campus at CDO. So once again, welcome to Math 111, Calculus 1 class. And just to give you a brief background of myself, para may idea kayo kung sino yung mag-handle sa class natin. So I am an engineer by profession. I am engineer handle D Magnanao. D stands for De La Serna. So I am an ECE EE and also a Master of Engineering in Telecommunication graduate. I am a registered ECE, but I don't have board exam for EE. So I am an associate professor of USTP. Just joined the university this semester. Okay, you can call me Sir Handel or Sir Dill. That's okay. My email address, though this is not yet created, but I think this is the way the university creates email address of the faculty. So this is to be verified pa. So I finished my Master of Engineering in Telecommunication at the Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand, and that was in year 2000. So can you imagine, that was 20 years ago. So maybe some of you was not yet born, at the time. So Master of Science in Teaching Mathematics, I also did 42 units, but I was not able to complete the thesis because I got scholarship from Thailand. This one, Master of Engineering in Telecommunications. So I thought I can do it at the same time, but it's not easy. So I prioritize this Master of Engineering. And I also did 2 Bachelor of Science in Engineering, that is Electrical and Electronics and Communications. Both of them at the Institute of Technology at Cebu City. Alright, so that's my background. Now let's review the vision of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. So the vision is to be nationally recognized science and technology university, providing the vital link between education and the economy. So I hope that you instill this in your mind, class, the vision, so that when you're here at the USTP, we are on the same direction. The vision of the university must also be our vision. Now for the mission. So number 1, bring the world of work industry into the actual higher education and training of students. And the second one is offer entrepreneurs the opportunity to maximize their business potentials through a gamut of services, from product conceptualization to commercialization. And the third one is to contribute significantly to the national development goals of food security and energy sufficiency through technology solutions. The fourth one is Okay, so we have only apologies, we have three, mission of the university. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so if you look at the USTP CDU colleges, there are also mission and vision, but I will only give you one of this. Then since we are at the College of Engineering and Architecture, so I will just show you this one briefly. So for the College of Engineering and Architecture, so this is House of the Recent Legends. The character describes the future great engineers. So I'm hoping that you are inspired or encouraged with this statement here. All right, so this is the mission and vision of this Student Council of College of Architecture, College and Architecture. Okay, so you just read it by yourself. And let's go next to the articulation of mandate of the USTP. So the USTP exists to contribute to the economic and social development of the country through human capital formation and knowledge generation and application by number one, providing advanced education and training in critical areas in science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and mathematics, and establish centers of excellence in these areas in order to strengthen the university's sphere of influence. And the second one, conducting basic, applied, and advanced research in various fields of specialization. And the third one, creating a seamless environment for research and teaching, as well as experiential learning for students and faculty with the involvement of the business and industry, thereby eliminating skills mismatch of graduates. So we're so lucky, class, because um, there will be matching of your field with the industry that you will be landing in the future. So that's one of the mission of the university, USTP. And the fourth one, providing timely and relevant technological solutions to pressing industries or industrial and societal problems with the involvement of faculty and students. So collaboration between faculty and students is very important. Assisting in the development of technopreneurial undertakings to propel economic enterprises at the grassroots levels. And lastly, leading the establishment and creation of new science and technology rooted in the practical solution to global problems. Alright, so we're just reviewing this. Perhaps you have already read this one, or maybe in your orientation it was already mentioned. And next is the core values. The university has these four core values: unselfish dedication, social responsiveness, transformational leadership, and prudence. You can see it, no, the way the mission and vision, as well as the articulation of the mandate. You can see that these are the core values of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. And in terms of attributes, graduate attributes, so we have here 6 attributes: innovative thinking, critical thinking, resilience, empathy, teamwork and collaboration, and communication skills. So you are expected to have these attributes, class, when you graduate USTP. So if you are all having these attributes when you finish your studies at USTP, surely you will excel in your respective field in the future. So these are the things that we need, no, when we are already in the real world. So we are here at the university to be trained, no, to get this, or to have this innovative critical thinking, resilience, empathy, teamwork, and collaboration and communication skills. So we are going to equip you with all this. So with your cooperation, we are sure that you graduate this university with all these attributes. Now, there's a motto that I really learned, no, from one of the universities that I was teaching with. So this is the motto also that I would like you to adapt. Well, this is a very useful thing to have, class. So this is the motto that I want my students to adapt. Oh, remarkable and ethical. So what does it mean? How to become remarkable and ethical? So to be remarkable, or we can say excellent, to be excellent or remarkable, so we need to be prompt. So what does it mean we need to be prompt? We have to be ready to learn when class begins. So when you plan to study the lessons, so you must always be ready, not just physically, but mentally also, and of course spiritually. No? That's very important ingredients also to be ready. Be prepared, have materials with you, and know due dates. This is a very important, class. Um, when you study, hindi ka preparado, wala kang mga materials, and you don't know what are you going to do, you don't know the dates when to submit all the requirements, of course, we will be having trouble later on. Okay, so we have to be remarkable. If we are prompt, we are prepared, and of course, we have to be polite and positive participant. So we need to speak in a normal tone of voice and listen attentively. So I'm okay, class, now. If you want to interrupt me while discussing something during our synchronous session, but you need to be polite. Just polite, because there are many ways of doing interruption, but if you do it politely, I think that's acceptable. So you have to speak in a normal tone of voice and be productive. Means that turn in work on time and always do your best. So pwede na manyanahabi tayo, kasi pag matatambakan tayo, class, mahirap nang bumawi, no? Kasi I know you have a lot of other work also from your other subjects. So kung manyanahabi tayo, procrastinate tayo, so later on we will be in trouble. So we have to avoid it. Then be a problem solver. So correct problems quickly and peacefully before they escalate. So huwag natin hayaan na lumaki na yung problema or dadami yung problema. So you have to correct or solve problems as soon as possible. Then for the ethical, how to be ethical, I'm not so sure, class, if you have seen this advocacy here, the Be Honest advocacy. Anybody have seen this in the billboards or on the billboards or anywhere in CDO? Have you seen this? Okay. So it says that be honest even if others are not, even if others will not, even if others cannot. Now, if we can do this, class, we'll be having no trouble in the future. Like what is said in the Proverbs chapter 10 verse 9. If you're familiar with the Bible, if you're reading the Bible, so it says that he who walks honestly walks securely. So how to be ethical? So we need to value ourselves, or value yourself. So be honest and ethical and practice strong moral values. Treat everyone, not only in the class, but everywhere, with politeness and respect. Then honor and respect the ideas and opinions of others. Because sometimes, class, we have ideas or opinions that we want to insist. especially when you are doing collaborative works with your classmates or anybody. Let's continue. So honor and respect the ideas and opinions of others. So we just listen, no? Listen and respect, because other individuals have their own ideas, other opinions. So we have to listen to them and we have to respect, their ideas and opinions. So to avoid any quarrel or misunderstanding, so better to respect and honor ideas from others. Offer help. So if you know somebody or anybody who is in need of help, then I think it's a prudent way to help those individual or in need or people who needs our help. Then be responsible student. No, as a student, and of course when you're already a professional, so you have to be a responsible professional. But this time as a student, so we have to be responsible as students, especially during this new normal time. So maraming mga rules and regulations na we need to follow this time to avoid any problems. So we have to do that. Okay, so may mga rules tayo sa schools, sa community natin, lalo na yung pag-wear ng mask, mga shield, tapos mga time when we are not allowed to go somewhere, we have to follow that. So that's why the university decided to have this semester completely flexible learning, no, for the students. So we have no face to face this time. Okay. So next we have responsibility for coursework. So make sure you have the following in place before the class begins. So when you try to start learning the lessons, so we have to have or to be yourself ready, not just physically but also mentally, spiritually, everything, no, to give you the focus in doing the thing that you want to do, especially in studying your lessons. This time, by the way, we are about to be cut off in 10 minutes. Magpuputol tayo class. So reconnect na lang ha pag naputol na tayo. So we need to have a stable internet connectivity so that we have a very smooth discussion or flow of our online session. So we need this stable internet connectivity. But for those who cannot get this stable internet connectivity, so don't worry, because I will upload a recorded version of this session so that you can review it at your most convenient time. Of course, you need a lecture notebook, ball pen, pencil, calculator, and paper. So these are the materials that you need when you're studying the lessons. Textbook references, this is an optional, because I think the university will be providing you the learning materials, and I will be also giving you some important materials and useful materials for your learning journey for this semester. Now, responsibility for coursework, you have to keep yourself updated to know due dates and class announcements through USTP portal or Facebook group. No, as I mentioned, kung meron na kayong made dyan na chat group sa section natin, just let me know, let everyone know, so that everybody can join. So a student, so you need to take note that a student who fails to comply all graded activities like readings, assignments, quizzes, major exam, or module assessments, and for the entire content of the course missed, regardless of the reason, is held responsible for his or failure to obtain a numeric grade at the end of the semester. So it's really your responsibility, class. Though we know that there are lots of limitations, but the university, I myself, is willing to to help. So for the classroom rules, since we are not in a face-to-face situation, um, just to give you an idea, no, kung nasa classroom tayo, well, the rules are stipulated in this student handbook, academic year 2019 to 2020. So you just review them. But during this synchronous online session, so ito yung rule natin class when we are in the online venue or room. So students will be reported for any misconduct, unruly behavior, disrespect, and unnecessary disruption of the session. Okay, so you have to mind with this rule. No interference of any kind is allowed. That's why I'm asking you to mute your gadgets or your system or laptop para there's no interruption, no? There's no noise from around. And phones must be kept silent at all times while we are in the session. Then a student will be given a grade of P or provisionary grade if the set passing average will not be met, or if a student failed to comply all the course requirements. So this time we'll not give an INC, so we'll give provisionary grade. Kung meron kayo mga lacking of the requirements, perhaps you haven't done the final or midterm exams or mga major exams, wala kayo, or missing yung ibang quizzes ninyo. So that can cause your grade to be provisional or P. And then you have to complete everything, all the requirements within a year. Alright? Now for the expectations. So what will you expect from me? So I will do my very best to provide you with the most relevant learning materials, resources to aid your learning journey for this semester. So that's why later on you will see a lot of links to very useful or mga video recorded materials that is very useful for your learning journey. I will be available anytime you're in need of my help regarding our course or lessons. Our schedule of consultation would be, if you will agree, since we will not be having this session all the time, so it can be our class schedule. You can message me, you can ask me during that period, no, sa klase natin pag wala tayong online sessions. I will work with you to meet learning goals, so I promise to help you on this. I will offer extra help should you require them, for as long as the help that you need is related to our class. But if you need help on how to amend with your girlfriend or boyfriend's problems, so di na ako makatulong dyan. So labas na ako dyan. Okay? Alright, in few minutes class, ma-cut off tayo about 3 minutes. So as I've said, we need to re-log in lang. Same ID and password. So for the course information, alright, so these are the information. So course title, this is Calculus 1, course code MATH111, credit 3 units. This is a 3-hour lecture class. There's no prerequisite and no co-requisites. Consultation schedule, as I mentioned a while ago, if you agree, my proposal is to have it during our class schedule na wala tayong synchronous online session. Now for the course description, Calculus 1 Math 111 is an introductory course covering the core concepts of limit, continuity, differentiability of functions involving one or more variables. This also includes the application of differential calculations in solving problems on optimization, rates of change, related rates, tangents and normals, and approximations, partial differentiation, and transcendental curve tracing. So this is the description. It's mentioned here, class, we'll start with limit, but I will give you the link to the recorded video about functions, review of functions. It's very helpful. So I have a recorded video for function. It was in the other same differential calculus, but other code, but the contents are just the same. Okay. Then we have here the course outcome. So ito yung course outcome, class, that we are aiming for. Okay, so at the end of the course, the student must be able to, course outcome number 1, explain the concept of functions, their precise mathematical definition, properties, classification, and calculate and evaluate limits. Course outcome number 2, explain the concept of the derivative of a function, its precise mathematical definition, geometric representation, and the different methods of to differentiate a function. And course outcome number 3, apply the concept of differentiating in solving applied problems in engineering involving optimization, related rates, and approximation. And course outcome number 4, explain the concept of limits and derivatives to transcendental functions. Alright, so these are, when you study, class, you have to look at this outcome. So these are the outcomes that you need to be mindful of para mas focus yung pag-study ninyo. Okay? So we have about a minute and we'll be disconnected and then just re-log in. Okay, so these are the course outline. So you can see here in this column, so if you look at this column, so these are the intended learning outcomes. Alright? So these are the outcomes that is intended. And this is the course objective or course outline. Sorry, course outcome number 1. And this is the allotted time. So it means that we need to cover all this for 8 hours. Then these are the topics. And these are the suggested readings. Page reference number 1, page, these are the page numbers. Okay, then teaching, learning activities. So we have interactive video. We have sample exercises, active experiential learning. Then we have PowerPoint or video presentation. Then for the assessment tasks and tools, we have participation, recitation, homework, sit work, group work, report, oral, presentation, written examination. But since we are not in the face-to-face, so And then we are not encouraged to have a lecture, synchronous lecture. So ang suggestion lang was to meet at least 1 hour a week to just follow up, no? Ano nang progress ninyo, anong concerns ninyo, but more of the learning it's a student centered learning process. So you have the control of your learning. Of course, you have to mind also the dates. Hindi masyadong mabagal para hindi ma-behind sa mga dates when the requirements are needed to be submitted. Okay, so continuation. This column here is for the course outline. These are the course outcome numbers, and these are the allotted hours, not to complete all these topics. And these are the topics here. These are the references. Okay, and these are the activities. Okay, so this is just a continuation of the outline. And then during this time, we have midterm. So midterm, we have 3 hours allotted for midterm exam. Sorry. Okay, so course outcome number 4 is also 8 hours allotted time. These are the topics, references. Okay, so the lecture, learning materials here. These are the activities. And we have our final exam here, also given 3 hours. Still, this is part of the course outcome number 4. So ito yung explanation. And these are the topics, references, learning materials. These are the activities. Okay, so that's it for the course outline. Now, course coverage. This is just an approximate class. It's not really exact, but based on my experience sa mga pagtuturo ko from other universities. So these are usually our content, no, for module 1. So week number 1. So we talk about, which is similar also to USTP. So we talk about limits, continuity, and behavior functions. So these are the subtopics. Okay, so how far have you gone in your study now, class? Have you touched this part already? Not yet. Okay. So there's I recorded a video about function. Might help also. So just for your reference. So I will give you, once we have the group, let me know. We have the chat group already, and I'll send you the link. Okay, so that is the preliminary coverage. So part of the preliminary coverage, week 2 to 3, so module 2. So these are the contents. And for module 3, so approximately week number 4. Actually, class, this modular lessons is done for trimestral, no? Trimestral, because sa Mapua, trimestral kasi kami doon. So we have only 12 weeks. But since sa atin dito sa USTP, this is semestral, so perhaps you can adjust, no, in terms of the speed. But anyway, kayo naman mag-control sa speed ninyo, sa learning ninyo. Basta ang importante that you are within the time bound of when, no, on what are the topics that you need to complete, no, before the major exams. So yun lang importante. For the coverage for midterm, so hoping for 5 to 6 weeks, or maybe 7 to 8 weeks here in at USTP. So these are the topics that we need to learn. On your part, these are topics that you need to learn. Actually, class, I still have to check this kung nag-match ba to sa syllabus ng USTP. But more or less, ito yung arrangement namin sa other university. Next, we have the applications of derivatives. We talk about rectilinear motion, related rates. So, kailangan na ma-master nyo to class because in your physics, kailan ba kayo mag-physics? So, normally you have physics 1 and 2. So, this topic is very useful, in physics when you are having your course in physics. So, another coverage, this time for finals. So, we have this curve sketching, no? We have algebraic curves, transcendental curves, parametric equations. So this is during 8 to 9 week, or maybe here at USTP, so 9 to 10 or 11 weeks. And for the other coverage, we have week 10 to 11, or perhaps from week 10 to or 11 to 13 or 14 weeks. So we talk about this maximum and minimum problems, differentials, and approximation, single and several variables. So ito class, ano lang, parang estimate lang to na ito yung makover natin. As I mentioned, I still have to match this with the syllabus, updated syllabus. But you can see also, no, when you compare this coverage, course coverage in the course outline, so more or less nagmamatch naman siya. Now for the textbook, so these are one of the most current textbook that you can refer to. That is Anton H. Vivens, 2016. So Calculus, 11th edition. So sa Mapua, we use Wiley. And we have lots of references here. So you can also look at them. I can remember, I think during my time, we used this Shomes. Maganda rin itong reference. Yung Lighthold also, we use that Lighthold. Okay, so those are the references that you can look at. And for the important schedules, we have here, we supposed to start on the 26th, but for some reasons, may mga holidays tayo, tapos may mga important activities yung universities, but we started 26 actually. Ito talagang schedule natin. And then we're expected to have our prelim exam on the 5th week, and that is on September 23 to 29. So take note on this date. And then for the midterm exam would be on October 21 to 27. Okay, and then for the final examination, it will be on the November 25 to December 1. So this is a pre-final, no? That is for undergrad level on the 14th week. So dito tayo titingin class sa undergrad, no? Undergrad. So this is the graduate level. So this is different. So you have to look at this. Now for the important schedules, it is summarized this diagram. So prelim, ito yung schedule natin, September 23 to 29. That is week number 5. Midterm, October 21 to 27. Week number 9. Pre-final for the undergrad students like you. So on the week number 14, November 25 to December 1, 2020. Now for the course requirements, okay, so class attendance and participation policy. So you may refer this to your handbook for the current semester or the academic year 2019-2020. I think that's good enough. So this is more on the face-to-face situation. Now for the course reading materials, So ito yung mga titles class. We have Calculus, the Calculus 7, Lighthold, Calculus with Analytic Geometry by Tharman. So ito yung ginagamit ko when I was a student. And that was more than 30 years ago. So this is a very obsolete one. But anything, no? The suggestion is, or the recommended textbook or references should be copyright within 10 years. That's still valid or a good source of references. Okay, so for the other matters like assignments, assessments, and evaluation, so policy concerning homework, so this is my discretion. Policy concerning make-up exam, so you need to refer to your handbook. Policy concerning late assignments requirements, that is also my discretion, so it depends on anong rason ninyo. So there are reasons that can be accepted or acceptable, or there are some that will not be acceptable. So case to case yun sa class. Preliminary information on term paper or project with due dates. So late projects will be given equivalent deduction per hour, or perhaps because of the situation we are flexible on this. Okay, so what's important here, class, is this item F. So our passing percentage is 70%. Take note on this. Pang board exam na tong passing percentage ninyo. Now for the grading,